we got into a huge altercation. The police were called, and...
What was the altercation about?
Him lying and cheating.
Did you get lost?
Well, he must have got lost, because he got lost a month ago, too, for a whole weekend and didn't say anything to me. But there was another girl.
She said, oh my God, homeowners association found out that you're in the place. I need you to hurry up and go put renter's insurance. The day that I put the renter's insurance, she told us we had to get out immediately.
I didn't kick her out.
Yeah, you did.
Plaintiff Esther Nagessar claims her ex-fiancé split without paying his share of the bills. She's suing him for $3,997. Defendant Devon Mason claims his ex is just being vindictive. And since he doesn't live there anymore or drive their car, he shouldn't have to pay their bills.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Jerry Springer now presiding. Morning, Judge.
Hey, Nagi, how are you?
Doing well, Judge. Case
Good.
number 22 on the docket, Nagessar versus Mason.
Welcome, everybody. The plaintiff, Ms. Nagessar, you are suing the defendant, Mr. Mason, in the amount of $3,997, $1,742 for a car payment, and $2,255 for rent and utilities. Why don't you tell me your side of the story?
The reason why we're here and I'm suing him is because in October of last year, we got into a huge altercation. The police were called, and...
What was the altercation about?
Him lying and cheating. The night that we got in an argument, he did not come home until like 2 o'clock in the morning. And it's not the first time that he did that.
Did you get lost?
That's not the night. Did I get lost?
Right.
It was better me not being there than me anything else. It wasn't me.
Well, he must have got lost, because he got lost a month ago, too, for a whole weekend and didn't say anything to me. He pocket dialed me by accident, I guess, but there was another girl. So that led me to believe he was cheating. The next day, I went to work. I decided not to come home early that night. I decided to stay out late and go out with a friend, hoping he would be asleep by the time I got back home.
Yeah.
I came back home, he wasn't asleep. That friend of mine called me, made sure I got home safe. He asked me who it was.
So the relationship is breaking up.
It's more to
Okay,
it.
let's get back to the case. How did you both leave?
Because of that friend, he got really upset, punched a hole in the wall, and he couldn't come back to the house anymore.
How long has he been out of the house?
Since October 26th.
24th.
24th.
6, 7 months.
Yes.
Where he doesn't live there anymore.
Correct.
So you want him, even though he's not living there anymore, even though you guys are broken up, you still want him to pay half the rent and half the utilities.
And for a Kia Stinger, a loan that I had to repay back.
I wasn't allowed to be in the home anymore. Police ordered me not to
But
go back
that
to the house.
doesn't matter, because they said
Okay, so the police, there was an order then for you
There was
to
an order
stay...
for me not to be and stay away
for
from the house.
him not to pay the
But me
rent.
not to pay the rent, I got arrested. Because of this night and everything else, I lost my job. It's kind of hard for me to pay anything if I don't have a job for me to support myself and do
Yeah, but
anything
you
else.
could've
Way that she
continued work.
explained the night, it wasn't that way. It was more so that went to it. We were arguing beforehand. I didn't come back to the house as far as me going back that one night to clear my head because we were arguing. So then it comes to the point of me being gone a weekend and me pocket dialing, saying I was with a female. She could say I was with a female. I was around females, yes, but I wasn't there. Wasn't anybody else romantically or with a friend, as
Yeah,
she
but
said
I
she
don't know
was.
that.
Okay, the rent we understand. You want him to still pay half the rent for the time he wasn't there, even though he was ordered by this court order, police order, that he is not to stay at the house. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing are the utilities. You said you only want him to pay half the utilities for the time he was there. How much does he owe for the period that he was living at that house? What would his half be?
My half, it would be for the prorated amount for that month when I was only there for part of the month.
Up until October, it was $43.94 for his half, and then he didn't pay for September, which was $60.
Yeah, what was the unpaid portion?
$169.
$169. So I understand what's going on with the rent. The cars are in your name?
He has really bad credit. He had told me to purchase a Honda Pilot, and he would pay for it. It would be my name, he would pay for it. So he did do that. He was paying for the Honda Pilot. Great. Okay, but then his car started breaking down. So what I did, because I already had another car, I traded in the Honda Pilot and got a Kia Stinger, because that's what he wanted. and he said he would pay for it. And I have proof right here that he said that not only would he pay the rent, but he would pay the stinger.
That's after doing
Saying
that.
he would pay the rent and the stinger.
I would pay for it as far as it being a gift, Your Honor. As far as me paying it, I paid it. Even after the fact, when I wasn't there at the house anymore, after everything happened, I was gone
So
for
that's
5
proof
months.
that was
When you come
yours.
back to the house,
Man.
it was her car, her vehicle. Yes, I paid for it. Never missed a payment, never did anything. Her Honda Pilot, paid for it, didn't have a problem. Her new car that she has now, I paid part of that car note as well. When I said I wasn't going to pay for something I wasn't driving anymore, it being her car, was no problem. She said, okay, cool.
Yeah, you said you would pay for the car.
All right.
But then you told me to sell the car back.
When you are no longer together and the defendant is legally not supposed to be in that house, even though he may have an agreement with the landlord, that then is between the landlord and him. But the lease that you sign is joint and several liability. What that means is, because this is a common occurrence, two parties sign the contract for a lease. The landlord has the right to either sue you both for the rent or just go after one of the parties. So to the extent that the landlord wants to get half from the defendant, that's up to the landlord. That's between them. You don't have a contract with him. For the time that he's not living in the apartment and not even allowed to live in the apartment, I am not going to find him liable for half the rent. In terms of the utilities, you are going to be liable for the $169 for the half the utilities that you agreed to for when you were living there.
Yes, sir.
And in terms of the cars, it's a bad situation. That's why people should be careful when they're together. But the car is your car. You can decide to sell it. You can decide to find another way to pay for it. And he doesn't have a responsibility, if there's no legal contract between you two, to pay for a car that is not his, that he can't have access to. And so I fine for the plaintiff in the amount of $169.
I'm pissed.
I'm satisfied with the verdict, so I feel as though everything happened the way that it should have.
Plaintiff Eileen Witt says she was trying to help a homeless single mother who repaid her kindness by nearly burning down her kitchen. She's suing for $3,956 for fire damage. Defendant Shavaugn Angelle claims the plaintiff's condo was a wreck that she made vast improvements to. And it's not her fault the plaintiff didn't have insurance. She says she owes nothing.
The truth?
I do.
Afternoon, Judge.
Hey, Nagi.
Got a case number 6 on the docket, Witt versus Angelle.
Witt versus Angelle. And welcome. The plaintiff, Ms. Witt, you are suing the defendant, Ms. Angelle, in the amount of $3,956 for fire damages on your rental property. What's going on?
Well, I met her back in 2014
Yep.
through a friend. She was looking for a place to live. So I explained to my business associate that I did have a place, but I wasn't going to paint it or recarpet it because it's going to be torn down. And Berkshire Hathaway had just listed my whole complex. There's like 230 units. It was a condominium. And Berkshire Hathaway had just listed it for sale of the whole property, and it was to be torn down. And she said that her friend needed a place to stay. Her credit was not good. And I said, well, if she's willing to live there under the conditions that it could be sold any day, that she could stay there as long as she wanted to, as long as it wasn't for sold.
So you understood that she had a place that you could stay, but it could one day be sold.
And she also told me that it was going to only be $500. And then 3 months later, with all the repairs, the window was busted in the kids' room, graffiti on the wall, the carpet looked like an animal had babies on the carpet. So when I get there, because I was in such a bind, I couldn't say no because me and my kids were already in a hotel. So she said, well, $500. I said, well, $500, I can take my time and fix it up myself. But she didn't tell me that they were going to tear that building down because 5 years later, I was still there.
You took the place as is.
Right, for $500.
I never said $500.
Yes,
it
you
was
did.
always $700.
It was never $700.
Well,
Okay.
The mortgage was $283 a month.
Yeah.
The homeowners association was $330, and then I had a home equity loan, which was $190, which was more than the $700 that I was charging. I never, ever said $500.
She
Okay.
said $500. It was also in the only
Whatever.
lease
I
that
have here
ever
the lease
received.
agreement, and in the lease agreement, it says you agree to pay $700 a month for rent,
What year was that?
and it was signed in 2014,
That's
December
not correct.
24th, Christmas Eve.
That's not correct. I don't know. Is that the original? It was $500. Yeah, and this is a copy.
I
That's the
understand it's a
original.
copy. Is that your signature?
Okay, yeah, but this is a copy what could have been changed. It was $500.
Okay.
I signed this. I signed the lease.
How long have you been paying $700?
700. She came back 3 months later. She gave it to me $500.
Okay.
Came back 3 months later, knew I was in a bind and couldn't afford to pay $700. She said, "Well, my husband said you have to pay $700. I'm gonna have to let you out." I have 3 young kids, so I had to
I
come up with the
understand.
money.
So how long have you been paying $700 and then $800?
I paid that for a year, and for the January
Yeah.
of 2015 to 16. Then she went
Okay.
back up to $800.
Now what happened? Apparently there's a fire.
Back in October, she called me and said that there had been a kitchen fire where somebody had put, I'm going to assume grease, and she said that, that there was a fire. She sent me pictures. The problem is, at the time I was dealing with a very complicated death in the family, and
Yeah.
I honestly, it was not important. But she did say she would take care of all the damages and she would repair the cabinets that were destroyed.
No, I didn't.
I just said, fine, and I let it go because I couldn't deal with it. I literally
Okay.
couldn't deal with
No.
it. And I said, it's okay, we're in this together. I said, we'll work together, and I'm not expecting you to pay for everything.
What's wrong with what she's saying?
Because that's not true. Your
How did
Honor.
the fire start?
We don't know. I was at
Well-
work. I was not there. She called me. When my son called me, he said, "Mom, something happened. I don't know." I said, "What's going on?" He said, the kitchen's on fire. I immediately called Eileen. I said, "Hey, there's a fire in the apartment." She said, "Oh, okay." And that was the end of it.
The fire department, I have to hear the report.
Okay, I never did receive none of this information.
I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying
Okay.
I see a report here, and the report says, after investigation, this is from the fire department.
Which I never received a copy.
I didn't say you did. After investigation, burnt food on stove. Hazard was removed and smoke was cleared by the smoke ejector. In other words, the fire department is saying that the fire
Right.
came from the kitchen. Nagi, you used to be a firefighter.
Yes, currently.
Okay, raise your right hand. You promise to tell me the truth and only the truth.
I do.
Okay. Is this kind of common
This is very common.
that a lot of apartment fires, house fires start in the kitchen because of cooking?
This is very common. Food on the
Okay.
stove, yes.
The reason I raised it, thank you. You're a phenomenal witness. The reason I raised this issue is because it goes to whose fault it was that the fire started. Whoever was cooking in the kitchen,
Right.
that's not her responsibility.
And
Where
I-
are the receipts for the damage that she's...
I have the pictures of the fire damage. I didn't know, but take that too.
The place was ruined when I moved there. It was already ruined. You rented it to me as is. At some point, you have to fix
The
it back up.
washer and dryer
What you think?
worked, the
I would-
dishwasher worked, the stove worked. There was damage to all of those things. The screen
was-
door
everything
was
was still
totally
working.
torn apart. All those things worked when she moved in.
She's trying to bag.
Okay, you guys can keep talking. I'm reading. Amounts I'm getting here are nowhere near...
$3,000.
Here, it's,
Let me see that.
Money hungry.
Okay, you did spend money in fixing it up, but that's your property.
no. What I'm trying.
And I know what you're trying to say.
I'm trying to just charge for the fire damage that she caused.
I understand.
And that had to be painted like 4 times because the smoke damage kept bleeding through the paint. So, and there was so much trash left that I had to hire somebody to remove all the trash.
No, she didn't.
Plus, there's more pictures of when I tried to show
Okay.
it for sale. Can I show you that?
We're here for
You
fire
are-
damage.
All
These
right.
pictures are after it was painted and recarpeted. And I was showing it to a potential buyer.
Well, yeah, you can't sue someone because they didn't make their bed.
I'm just saying it cost over $15,000 to make the condo presentable to be sold.
Well,
All
she
right.
kicked me out.
All right.
I didn't kick her out.
Yeah, you did.
Do you have renter's insurance?
No, I did not, because she did not let me put anything in my name, because she told me to say if somebody knows that I'm staying there, to let them know that I'm there helping her, not actually living there.
So
And she didn't have no homeowners insurance.
Did you
or
tell her
nothing.
that she's supposed to tell people she's to help, that she doesn't live there?
I had to submit the lease to the homeowners association.
No, she didn't, because when the homeowners
I have here the
association-
lease.
She started getting emails about why was I living there, and that she was going to charge her $25 a day for not having homeowners insurance.
Do
So she
you
came-
have homeowner's insurance?
No, it's the
No,
tenant's,
she made me
it's
put-
the
she-
tenant's responsibility.
She called me and told me, oh, you got to
it's-
hurry up and put.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
The tenant is supposed to have
Yeah.
renter's insurance,
Yeah.
and you are supposed to have homeowner's insurance.
No, because
Well,
part of HOA.
yeah.
The insurance is part of HOA.
Your Honor, can I speak?
Yes.
She came to me and she said that day, she said, oh my God, homeowners association found out that you're in the place. I need you to hurry up and go put renter's insurance because I don't have any homeowners insurance. So I was like, oh my God. I said, so what does that mean? So the day that I put the renter's insurance, she told us we had to get out immediately.
Do you have insurance on the property?
Only through the HOA?
Did you submit a claim to the insurance?
No.
Why not?
Well, oddly enough, I've tried, I just sold the condo.
Yes.
Yesterday
Yeah.
it was sold. And you can't get the HOA to respond to you. So, no, it never occurred to me to submit a claim to them.
That's part of the problem.
But it was interior damage, though. I can't see where they would have any claim, because it would be more of like if the building had burned down, then.
Fire damage is
But
fire.
you're right. I could have asked them about it. It's very difficult to get in touch with the HOA, though. I'm going to tell you, because I just
Yes.
sold the property and I can't get them to call me back.
And I'm not being
Okay.
flippant with
I
you,
did
but
try-
it is true.
But I did not try. I
Okay.
didn't even think about it.
And she did not tell me until they started
Okay,
sending her emails.
but you are responsible, the renters are responsible for having started the fire.
And-
You're responsible for the fire. You don't have renter's insurance. You were required to have renter's insurance. So the main I'm not saying the only responsibility, the main responsibility is yours. It says very clearly that under the leasing agreement, to keep active and in good standing, renter's insurance that covers all contents within the condominium with reputable insurance carrier. Said insurance shall cover vandalism, theft, water, and fire damage. That is your responsibility.
I spent over $15,000 on the damage that was done to the condo. Plus, there was quite a bit of vandalism involved.
So my judgment is, for the plaintiff, $3,000.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I have been through absolute hell because of this woman. It's something horrible that happened to me because of her and her stupid.
She's an evil lady. She's manipulated a lot of single parents that are unfortunate. That's what she does all the time. I wish her well. Me and my family will move on, and so be it.
Thanks for watching. Now please approach the bench. The way I look at it, you have two options here. Option A, watch more Judge Jerry. Option B, watch more Jerry Springer. The choice is yours. Now get out of my courtroom. You have more clips to watch. And don't forget to subscribe.